Eternal Black Project. FBI CIA alert. The contents of this video are taken from an online article. I translated the text into voice and I'm not responsible for its accuracy. The reality and truth of FEMA concentration camps across America. The very thought that righteous America is building hundreds of concentration camps around the country should flabbergast every patriotic supporter. After World War II, the patriotic morale is at its highest level. After all, Hitler and the Axis nations experienced defeat. The Western citizens naturally trusted their country leaders, and the new propaganda invention of home television helped to deeply ingrain that trust. From 1942 to 1945, U.S. authorities forced nearly 7,300 Japanese Americans to live in internment camps after the bombing of Pearl Harbor in World War II. August 14, 2002, Attorney General John Ashcroft announced his desire to have concentration camps for U.S. citizens he deemed to be enemy combatants. That moved the Attorney General from being merely a political embarrassment to being a constitutional menace. Ashcroft's plan was little publicized, but would allow him to order the indefinite incarceration of U.S. citizens, and thus summarily strip them of their constitutional rights and access to the courts, by declaring them enemy combatants. Clinton does not deny the fact that there are foreign troops in America, and he also does not deny the building of concentration camps. His professional political hypnotic rhetoric agrees to cooperating with NATO and the UN that supports the New World Order. The typical crisis needed to launch martial law in America would be a threat of imminent nuclear war, riding in several U.S. cities simultaneously, a series of national disasters that affect widespread danger to the populace, massive terrorist attacks, a depression in which millions are unemployed and without financial resources, a virus or pandemic, or a major environmental disaster. The military complex of wizardly weapons of mass destruction is capable of causing a situation. Even so, deception is crucial to justify martial law. I believe the New World controllers want to cause an uprising and are using public preaching actors such as Alex Jones, Jesse Ventura and many others. These public, new agency preachers may not even be aware that they're being used in the deception. William Colby, former director of the CIA, has said, "The CIA owns every one of any significance in the major media." It is reported that there are over 800 prison camps in the United States. All are fully operational and ready to receive prisoners. They are all staffed and even surrounded by full-time guards. But they are all empty. These camps are to be operated by FEMA, which is the Federal Emergency Management Agency. When martial law is implemented in the United States, all it would take is a presidential signature on a proclamation and the Attorney General's signature on a warrant in which a list of names would be attached. Executive Order 10990 allows the government to take over all modes of transportation and control all highways and seaports. Executive Order 10995 allows the government to seize and control all communications and media. Executive Order 10997 allows the government to take over all electrical power, gas, petroleum, fuels and minerals. Executive Order 10998 allows the government to take over all food resources, farms and ranches. Executive Order 11000 allows the government to mobilize civilians into work brigades under full government supervision and control. Executive Order 11001 allows the government to take over all health, education and welfare functions. Executive Order 11002 designates the Postmaster General to operate the national registration. Executive Order 11003 allows the government to take over all airports, air and sea craft, including commercial air and sea craft. Executive Order 11004 allows the Housing and Finance Authority to relocate communities, build new housing with public funds, designate areas to be abandoned, and establish new locations for populations. Executive Order 11005 allows the government to take over railroads, inland waterways, and public storage facilities. Executive Order 11051 specifies the responsibility of the Office of Emergency Planning and gives authorization to put all executive orders into effect in times of increased international tensions and economic or financial crisis. Executive Order 11310 grants authority to the Department of Justice to enforce the plans set out in executive orders and to institute industrial support, to establish judicial and legislative liaison, to control all aliens and to operate penal and correctional institutions as well as to advise and assist the President. Executive Order 11049 assigns emergency preparedness functions to all federal departments and agencies, consolidating 21 operative executive orders issued over a 15-year period. Executive Order 11921 allows the Federal Emergency Preparedness Agency to develop plans to establish control over all the mechanisms of production and distribution of energy sources, wages, and salaries, as well as credit and the flow of money in all of the U.S. financial institutions in any undefined national emergency. It also provides that when a state of emergency is declared by the President, Congress cannot review the action for 6 months. The executive orders date as far back as JFK. Jimmy Carter signed a major consolidation of executive orders that gave the control to FEMA. The exhaustive list of executive orders and locations of the concentration camps are part of the executive arm of the coming police state, and thus will head up all operations. The presidential executive orders already listed on the Federal Register also are part of the legal framework for this operation. The camps all have railroad facilities as well as roads leading to and from the detention facilities. Many also have an airport nearby. The majority of the camps can house a population of 20,000 prisoners. Currently, the largest of these facilities is just outside of Fairbanks, Alaska. The Alaskan facility is a massive mental health facility and it can hold approximately 2 million people. Today America would be outraged if UN troops entered Los Angeles to restore order. Tomorrow they will be grateful. This is especially true if they were told that there were an outside threat from beyond, whether real or promulgated, especially if it seemed to threaten our very existence. When presented with this scenario, individual rights will be willingly relinquished for the guarantee of their well-being granted to them by the world government. Henry Kissinger, 1991. America, destroyed by design. When Colonel Oliver North is asked about the subject, the chairman will not allow the question. It is said that Oliver North is the prime designer of the execution of the FEMA plan. An interesting correlation of lieutenant colonels between Oliver North and Adolf Eichmann. Continued reading. Web searches. New World Order Martial Law Concentration Camps. New World Order Martial Law Boxcar Shackles. New World Order Martial Law Christian Martyrs. Cheney Halliburton Contract Detention Camps. External sources. Camps The Great Betrayal. Please subscribe to Eternal Black Project. Please subscribe to Eternal Black Project.
My heart is a blue,
up through the stony